What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Johnny the Whiz Kid, good to hear from you, my friend. I'm worried about Japan's decline. I've been interested in a Japanese girlfriend. I'd like to bring her to America someday and take road trips together. What's your advice on finding one? Otaku, hopefully.
But first, gang, you have got to click on that link below and try for yourself the new technology behind MyPillow 2.0. It's amazing. Mike Lindell's absolutely outdone himself with the new fabric temperature regulating technology that keeps you comfortable all throughout the night. You're going to absolutely love it. I know I do every night. And you get the same amazing savings as always if you use promo code Turley. Normally, classic MyPillow is $69.98, but if you use promo code Turley, you'll get that same classic MyPillow for just $19.98, and that applies to 200 products in their catalog. So don't wait. Click on that link below. Give the gift of comfort and warmth for yourself, for loved ones. Support one of America's most amazing patrons and get the best savings ever with promo code Turley. Click on that link below right now.
Okay. Very interesting question, Johnny, given that my wife, as I'm sure you know, is Japanese. So, yes, let's start with the decline, the demographic decline. It is serious. The joke is there's more depends than diapers in Japan right now. And there does seem to be pockets of reversal going on. So when I was just in Japan a few weeks back, I was actually surprised seeing all the kids. There was a lot of parents with kids, a lot of parents with strollers, and strollers with 2 seats in. They have 2 kids there. So I was very fascinated by the number of 2 child households I was seeing there. So I don't have the data to suggest beyond just the pockets, because there are some areas that are experiencing little baby booms right now. But for the nation as a whole, it's going through serious demographic decline. But as is South Korea, as is China, as is much of Asia, right? As is all of the West. So it's not like Japan is alone in this. So this is the problem I have with some of the theses that are out there, like Peter Zion and so forth, that demographic decline, particularly in China or Russia, are geopolitically disastrous. That would be true if everybody else was growing and they're shrinking, but everybody else is shrinking right along with them, as it were. There's plenty of population increase in sub-Saharan Africa, Pakistan, India, and the like. So, so it's concerning for Japan. Not so concerning, I would say, geopolitically. I think their role geopolitically in the world remains the same as long as their decline is paralleled by China. Yeah, no, in terms of Japanese girlfriend, I mean, look, you know, you're going to love and adore whoever God has in store for you. But you know, people talked about it. Cross-cultural relationships have an interesting dynamic, and oftentimes we're attracted to other cultures in terms of familial marital relationships. Because those cultures tend to actually have more traditionalist sentiments just ingrained in them. And I remember my mother-in-law making fun of my dear bride, who's the greatest wife anyone could ever dream of having. But I remember my mother-in-law would always, my Japanese mother-in-law would always just shake her head when we were talking around the dinner table or something about my wife and her housekeeping, whatever. And my mother-in-law would say, "Oh, you're such a bad wife. You're such a bad wife." That's not something I would ever imagine hearing an American. And this is not a diss. It's just cultural difference. I never imagined hearing an American mother-in-law say, "Oh, you're such a bad wife," you know, or something like that. In Japan, being a wife and again, this is changing a little bit. Obviously, there's some contemporary Western sentiments that are seeping in, or whatever you want to. But in Japan, generally speaking, traditionalist domestic values still very much pervade even among working women. There's still a sense, if they're married, that, you know, they come home and there are traditional roles that play out. I'm not saying it's right or wrong or anything like that. And so a lot of us we're attracted to those more, you know, trad wife dynamics. And while we've talked about it on this channel, trad wife is making a huge comeback right now on TikTok. viral videos of traditional housewives and their day and a typical day, and Gen Zers are like, dang, that's fascinating. I've never seen that before. That's really neat. I want to grow up and I want to have a home, and it's so much work, but it's so rewarding raising children and having a successful and intimate and beautiful marriage. And maybe career isn't all that's pen up to be. So I think you're seeing the trad wife phenomenon happening as a whole, but there are cultures where it's ready-made. It never left. It's not experiencing a renaissance because it's still very much intact. And so I think Japan is one, because Japan is an incredibly ritualized traditionalist nation. I think Japan just happens to be one of those nations that guys who are looking for trad wives are very attracted to. So no, I just learn the language, go out there, go to a Japanese church. There are Japanese churches you'll find here or there in the United States, and see and just the best thing you could do in the end is just love her and appreciate her as a human being. She's not Japanese or anything. She's a human being. And as long as you show that you are committed to honoring her as a human being and as a person, I think you'll be good to go. So there you go. There, relationship advice from the Patriot Professor. All right.